She's a pretty special lady, too. She facilitates stress management and resiliency workshops, but the place that she does it is really cool. She does this for teachers in the school system. So cool. Because teachers are dealing with what? Everybody's children. So this is really important. And she does this also for other helping professionals in British Columbia. She has a passion for helping people, this is so special too, find their inner quiet to help them live better lives. Let's welcome Vicky back.
Hi. Oh, this is so exciting to be up on this stage. I've been attending Elizabeth's festivals for a long time. And I'm finally here on the stage. So, my journey's been long. I'm a slow learner. Truly, it's taken me many years to synthesize all the learning that I've done. I'm so excited to be here and finish this weekend with everyone before we get back to our busy lives. How many of you have busy lives to get back to tomorrow morning? Busy. Me too. My name is Vicky Scott, and I teach mindfulness and meditation to teachers in the interior of BC. I also am the creator and the facilitator of Mindfulness and Meditation Made Meaningful, which is a series of workshops that I have just started to share with the public. I hope that I can share with you today a few of my strategies that I use to find quiet in my life. And I've noticed that the theme this weekend, and maybe it's just for me because this is on my mind, but the theme is accessing our higher selves, accessing our spiritual selves, being able to find our intuition, discover our inner selves and who we are. That all requires us to find quiet. And it's really difficult to do in our day and age, right? How many of you have a photo album at home? Like a real photo album, like a real one that you open and you look at pictures? Not just, right? So I was looking at a photo not too long ago. I pulled it out and it was taken quite a few years ago, and it's my son on his 5th birthday, and it's outside in our backyard on the pool deck. And he's looking up with these big beaming eyes. First of all, he's tanned, he's got a shaved haircut, no front teeth, shirtless, 5-year-old little boy. He's looking up at Uncle Chris the Clown with these big eyes. He was so excited and so in the moment. And I was behind him over his shoulder. And when I took that picture out, how do you suppose I felt? I looked at that picture and it struck me that I felt extreme sadness when I looked at that picture, because now he's 15 years old. He's not that little boy anymore. And when I looked at that picture, I felt a lot of grief and a lot of sadness for what I had missed, because the woman in that picture wasn't there. I wasn't present. I mean, sure, I was there. I paid for the clown. I made the cake. I cleaned up the mess. God knows I cleaned up the mess. But I was leaning over his shoulder, watching him enjoy his moment, and I wasn't living mine. I was thinking about what I was going to do once everyone left my house. I was thinking about what happened at work the week before. I was living in the future. I was living in the past. But there was a whole chunk of my life, you guys, where I wasn't living in the moment. And I didn't realize it then. But what started to happen to me was I started to feel this kind of sense of flying above my body, not being fully present. I feel like looking back now, my brain and my head was disconnected from my body all those years. I was a human doing life. I wasn't a human being. It got to the point where, and now you need to know this wasn't every day, right? There were good days, there were bad days, but across the board, there was uncertainty. There was not a sense of presence. And for me, it got to a point where my body started to whisper to me, be here, slow down. sit for a minute. But I didn't listen. I wasn't hearing. I wasn't quiet enough to hear. So I kept going, and my body said, slow down. And I kept going. I felt like I had to do. I felt like that was important to who I was. I felt like I would be loved better if I did a lot. So I ran marathons, and I did fitness competitions, and I increased my education, and I did all this for something that wasn't there. And one day it broke me. One day it broke my brain. And some people call it nervous breakdown. Doctors call it clinical depression. I call it a broken brain. And I sat on the couch for 3 months. And I couldn't even read a book, because that's what mental illness does. It is insidious, and it makes you stop. Because I didn't listen to the whispers. My body said, we're going to listen to this. And my kids lost their mom for a period of time. And my husband lost his wife and his best friend. And I lost myself. So many, many, many months, and I'm not going to sit here and say, a few weeks went by, I went to a counselor, I got all fixed, and I'm better, I'm here. It was years, you guys. Years of kind of riding the ocean without a sail and without a rudder. Kind of being bounced around by, is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? I didn't really know. I was never certain. There was nothing tangible to hang on to for me, and there was nothing tangible for my kids or my husband to count on. Because one day mommy was great, and one day she was not nice. Or one day she was unable to do the things that mommies are supposed to do. I was inconsistent in my friendships. And I lost a lot of them, because mental health does that. Unlike any other illness, it affects who we present to the world. It presents what package we present to the world. I left teaching for a long time. I took a chunk of time off where I thought that I couldn't do my job anymore. So, eventually I got myself to a counselor. Good idea, right? And as I was sitting in this counselor's office, the counselor said to me, I just have to share this. I don't even know how to share it. I've been thinking of how do I share this in a way that it was bizarre. I was sitting in the little chair on the couch, and he said to me, Vicky, have you ever thought of stopping to cut the carrots? Right? Stopping to cut the carrots. Oh, sorry, to enjoy cutting the carrots. And I thought, that was the most bizarre piece of advice I've ever been given. And I left his office thinking I paid $150 for that piece of advice. But guess what happened the next time I was cutting carrots? Popped into my brain. So I started to notice what I was doing as I was cutting the carrots. I started to notice the sound of the knife hitting the cutting board. I started to notice the texture and the sound of the carrots as the knife cut through them. And I thought, that's okay, interesting. And then I started applying mindfulness like that to my life. I thought, well, if I can enjoy cutting the carrots, maybe I can enjoy washing the dishes. And if I can enjoy washing the dishes, I'm going to enjoy having a shower. And maybe I can even enjoy loading the dishwasher. You get the idea. I started to play with mindfulness, and play it into my life, even though I didn't really know what it was. But it started over time to make me feel a lot better. And I thought, hey, if this is making me feel a lot better, I'm going to spend more time in mindfulness. And guess what that's called? Meditation. So I slowly eased into this practice that I didn't even know what it was. It was me being still, me being aware, me being present, and eventually learned that was mindfulness. So today I have a practice. And I really appreciate the fact that mindfulness practice is called a practice, because it very much is a practice. We need to work on it every day, consistently giving ourselves time and space and quiet. But it's allowed me to see things clearer. It's allowed me to be present in my life. And it's allowed me to do my job in an efficient and effective way. So what I'd like to do today before I wrap up is leave you with 3 things. Just 3 little tools that you can put in your backpack and take along with you, and hopefully use them to try and throw some cutting carrot moments into your life. The first one is the pause practice. Just finding a moment of mindfulness and peace within your body, wherever you are. So let's just try it together right now. I invite you just to put your feet on the floor. Close your eyes if you like. And just visit your body. Just take a breath. Just feel yourself here in this space. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your bum in your seat. Feel the energy of your body in this space. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed. You can do this anywhere. You can do this sitting at a stoplight, although maybe that's not the best place to do it. At your desk at work, okay? It's just a pause. It's just a way to reconnect your brain and your body, be in your space and in your body. The next tool I want to give you is the breath. I'd like to walk you through a specific breathing practice, but I don't think I have the time to do that. But like Sonia mentioned, the breath, and many of you in your workshops have mentioned, right? The breath, we can always come back to what we have inside of us. Like the waves of the ocean, right? It's always going to be there. It's always your friend. Whenever you need to, you can just take a moment and take a breath. So let's just do it together right now. And many of you probably already know that when we take a big diaphragmatic breath, diaphragmatic, is that the right word? Diaphragmatic breath. So you don't have to know your words to be on the stage. You actually stimulate the vagus nerve in our bodies, and you actually relax us from tips of your toes. You relax your body from your tips of your toes to your tips of your toes, and there's actually a physical thing that happens there when you take a big, deep breath. So going back to your breath. And the third tool I want to leave you with today, Sonia already mentioned it. Two of the same tools, Sonia. They must be good. Okay? The last one is self-compassion, right? We don't do self-compassion very well, in my opinion. I feel like as a culture of people, we don't connect with ourselves very well. So soothing touch, for example, can be seen as a really odd thing. Yet we do touch with our kids all the time. Rub their tummies, rub their chest, rub their cheeks, right? So just for an example of soothing touch and self-compassion, if you feel courageous enough to touch your heart, hand over your heart, and just feel it beating, and just say to yourself, I see you, I know you're there, and in moments of anxiety or stress or disconnect, know that you can just offer yourself soothing touch, offer yourself some words of self-compassion as you would a young child, and know that that can take you through whatever you need to get through. Thank you. I'm Vicky Scott, and I have mindfulness and meditation workshops available. If you're interested, I would love to see you come out and share the quiet with me.